Welcome back to Vader TV. This is John Chenal, and I'm speaking today with Kevin Bromber, founder and CEO of nowlive.com. Kevin, you're down in L.A. The writer strike is now into its second month. You guys have a show on nowlive.com, I think 3 times a week, where the striking writers are giving their side of the story with the live text chat and call-in. From where you sit, is this thing ever going to get resolved, or are we going to come up with a very different model in Hollywood when it's all done? I mean, what do you think about that?
Wow, it's I think stressful, for the writers. I mean, we see them coming in every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and they're broadcasting live from the lines. So we have the main guys on camera, and then you've got 3 guys out on the street sometimes at the strike lines. And the mood initially was very upbeat, on the lines.
Sure. Solidarity is strong.
Solidarity is strong, but I think as it goes on, and as we just went through the holidays,
no paychecks coming in. I mean, that's
no paychecks coming in. I think that's it's starting to grate on them a little bit, and but I think there's hope in sight. I think it's just time, but I think that what they're fighting for and what they're standing up for, it makes sense.
Right, they want digital a bigger piece of the digital pie.
Just a piece of the pie. Right now, they don't have that, and I think it will get resolved. And I just think it's a matter of time. And I think when you throw the holidays in there, that just stalled things a bit. But now you're starting to see the repercussions with the Golden Globes. They've canceled. Right. So now it's starting to make some real impact at the studio level. Right. So I think there's motivation on both sides, and they'll get it figured out.
Now, what's the reaction to a site like nowlive.com in terms of either the writers, or I don't know, maybe you're in touch with producers, and in terms of understanding or either being excited about the web opportunity or fearful of it, or are they? What do they think like? Are they trying to get their heads around it and say, what is it going to look like? Or are they saying, let's let the studios do that, and then we'll just make sure we get our piece? I mean, what's the reaction when they come in and they think about nowlive.com? New opportunity for revenue, or a bit of a threat to the model?
The writers, I think, are, they're creative guys. They're excited about it. They, every time they're always like, oh, you could do this, or we could do this. And they come up with some really great creative ideas. So I don't see fear there. Actually, a lot of excitement, and I think these guys really kind of get it. I think there is a little bit more fear and unknown from the traditional media guys. There's what are we going to do, and when you look at traditional media over the course of time, there were just a few silos of where we where as us as consumers consumed it. It used to be print, that was it. Yeah. And then the 1900s rolled around, you had TV and radio. You had 3 places that you could consume. Then you enter into the internet age, and now where you can go and get that content, it's all over the place. Right. And so traditional media companies just trying to, I think, get their head around, hey, how do we make sure that we're still relevant moving forward into the future?
Right. And, I mean, the one thing the Internet has done is really collapse those silos. I mean, because you've got producers of content now who, through nowlive.com and many other places, can get right in touch with an audience. They don't need some, production. They don't need distribution. Some of them don't. I mean, for the bigger projects they do. But do you hear, when you talk to them, people trying to come up with new business models? I mean, sort of people thinking really creatively. As you said, the writers are a creative group of people.
Yeah.
Do you hear that, down in L.A. in terms of people saying, we need to take advantage of this, basically?
You hear it a little bit, but I think the majority of them are still kind of stuck in what world they are in, and they're trying to mesh the 2 of them together. They're trying to smash those 2 together, and I do think that's problematic, and that mindset will change. Before the interview, we talked a little bit about what I think is successful on the web versus what's successful in traditional media. Right. Traditional media, it's about creating good content. It's quality content where people passively consume that content. When you watch a TV show, right, you're sitting in front of your TV. You're not really actively participating in that. So it better be good quality, imagery and a good story. Otherwise, you're gonna turn the channel. On the web, it's a little bit different. Most people have ADD when they're on the web. Right. You even at your work, you're sitting here typing away. You go over to the web, you take a bite out of it. Right. For maybe 2 or 3 minutes, you look at a funny video that somebody sent you, or you go over here and you get your information at wherever you've gone to, Yahoo or Google. Right. But so it's got to stand on its own, and every time you go over there, it's got to be live and interactive. So it's always got to be fresh. It's always got to be changing,
right.
And so there's new content that needs to be created.
Right, yeah. We call it multitasking, but I think ADD is probably a better word for it. Last thing, in terms of some of the things you're hearing from, remind us, when is the writer show on nowlive.com?
Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. It's actually put on by United Hollywood, which represents the Writers Guild in their, in this type of endeavor. Every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 12 noon Pacific time. And it's a great show. It's a great show because they get great guests. Like they had Sarah Silverman calling in. Okay. They had Apatow. There's some names that I don't even know of guys who the writers all know. Like the guy who wrote The Empire Strikes Back and that kind of thing. I mean, some really big names have called in and participated, or that you can see actually on the strike line, and it's a pretty neat show. Well,
one last thing I just want to ask you about, which is how do the writers feel about YouTube? I mean, you mentioned before that there is an interactive component there. Is that part of the piece that they see as a new opportunity, or are people saying, we hope Viacom, sues, the hell out of Google, so protect our royalties, they get money, we get money, or do people really see it as an opportunity?
I think the writers just see opportunity. I think they see this is where it's headed, and yes, maybe the revenue's not there right now for the media companies, but it's going to be there. And their argument is that the media companies said like DVDs weren't going to be anything big because it was the era of the VHS.
They really let that one get away. They should have gotten more of that.
Yeah, and it's the same situation. We all know it's headed in this direction, and they are going to make money there, and so they just want to get a piece of that.
Yeah, makes sense. Kevin, we're going to let you get back to sunny L.A. and get out of the rain up here in San Francisco.
Wonderful.
Thanks a lot for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. I'm speaking today with Kevin Bromber, the founder and CEO of nowlive.com, talking about the Hollywood writer strike and how that's impacting the web and traditional media. For Vader TV, this is John Chenal.